What happened in Minneapolis wasn't just a Game 3 win. It was a full-scale dismantling of the Western Conference narrative, and Anthony Edwards was holding the hammer. Coming into Saturday night, all the noise was around Oklahoma City. The Thunder were up 2-0 in the series. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had just claimed his first MVP, and the youngest #1 seed in 2 decades was playing like they were ahead of schedule and loving every second of it. Then the Timberwolves dropped 143 on them. In front of a roaring home crowd at Target Center, Minnesota didn't just win, they sent a message. The final score, 143-101, and if it looked ugly on TV, it was even uglier in the box score. The Timberwolves led 34-14 after the first quarter. That's not a typo. They were up 20 before OKC even got into second gear. Edwards scored 16 in that first period alone, cutting through the Thunder's defense like it didn't exist. By halftime, the Wolves had put up 72 points. By the end of the third, Edwards had 30, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, and he didn't play a single minute of the fourth quarter. But this wasn't just a scoring outburst, it was surgical. Minnesota shot 57% from the field and 50% from deep. Julius Randle added 24 points with efficient finishing in transition. Rookie Terrence Shannon Jr. came off the bench and poured in 15, turning garbage time into a highlight reel. But everything flowed through Edwards. He didn't just lead, he dictated. What made it even more dramatic? What Edwards said after the game. When asked about matching up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he didn't blink. "He's the MVP, right?" Edwards said. "I wanted to see what that looked like." That wasn't a quote. It was a bombshell. Edwards didn't praise, he prodded, and he had every reason to. SGA finished with 14 points on 4 of 13 shooting. He looked out of rhythm from the jump. Anytime he tried to create space, Minnesota sent bodies. Jaden McDaniels bodied him up early. Edwards switched onto him late. Rudy Gobert was there, waiting at the rim. It wasn't rough, it was calculated, it was effective. By the time SGA sat in the third quarter with the Thunder trailing by 38, the MVP chance from Game 1 felt like a distant memory. The Timberwolves had not only solved Oklahoma City's offense, they had exposed its limits. The Thunder couldn't get out in transition. They couldn't control the glass. They couldn't find a second scorer. Jalen Williams was quiet. Chet Holmgren struggled with Randle's physicality. And their bench, which had been such a strength earlier in the playoffs, got blown out by Minnesota's second unit. What made the night even more punishing for OKC fans was how confident and calm the Timberwolves looked. Edwards played with his usual swagger, but he didn't force it. He picked his spots. He made the right reads. And when the game tilted into blowout territory, he didn't start showboating. He walked back to the bench, sat down, and stared forward like he wasn't done yet. After the game, head coach Chris Finch praised Edwards' focus. He set the tone. He let his play talk. That's what leaders do. And now, heading into Game 4, the series doesn't look like a coronation for Oklahoma City anymore. It looks like a fight. Minnesota's performance didn't just change the scoreboard, it flipped the pressure. Suddenly, it's the Thunder who need answers. Suddenly, it's SGA who has to respond. Because right now, Anthony Edwards isn't just playing better. He's owning the moment. Game 4 tips off Monday night in Minneapolis. And after what we just saw, it might be the most important game of the series. If the Timberwolves tie it up at 2-2, everything resets. But if they play like they did in Game 1, the only thing that resets might be Oklahoma City's confidence. Saturday night in Minneapolis wasn't just a Timberwolves win, it was a seismic shift in the Western Conference Finals. Anthony Edwards didn't just lead Minnesota to a 143-101 blowout over Oklahoma City. He redefined the series narrative, leaving the Thunder and their MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, searching for answers. Edwards' performance was a masterclass in leadership and execution, scoring 30 points on 12 of 17 shooting, including 5 of 8 from beyond the arc. He added 9 rebounds and 6 assists, all in just 3 quarters. His early aggression set the tone, and his efficiency kept the Timberwolves' offense humming. Julius Randle complemented with 24 points, while rookie Terrence Shannon Jr. provided a spark off the bench with 15 points in 13 minutes. The Timberwolves' offensive explosion was historic, setting a franchise playoff record with 143 points. They shot 57.3% from the field and 50% from three-point range, dismantling the Thunder's defense with precision and pace. On the other side, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the newly crowned NBA MVP, struggled to find his rhythm. Held to 14 points on 4 of 13 shooting, he appeared out of sync, unable to penetrate Minnesota's stifling defense. The Timberwolves' strategy was clear: disrupt SGA's flow and force the Thunder into uncomfortable positions. The plan worked to perfection, as Oklahoma City shot just 40.7% from the field and 31.8% from 3. The Timberwolves' defensive intensity was evident from the outset. They forced 13 turnovers through 3 quarters and limited the Thunder's ball movement, making every possession a challenge. Minnesota's physicality and discipline disrupted Oklahoma City's offensive schemes, leading to a lopsided affair. The crowd at Target Center played its part, energizing the home team and creating a hostile environment for the visitors. Chants of "free throw merchant" echoed as Gilgeous-Alexander stepped to the line, highlighting the fans' engagement and the psychological edge Minnesota held throughout the game. Post-game reactions reflected the magnitude of the Timberwolves' performance. Coach Chris Finch praised his team's execution and focus, noting the importance of maintaining this level of play moving forward. Edwards, ever the competitor, emphasized the need to stay grounded. "We did our job tonight, but the series isn't over. We have to bring the same energy in Game 4. The victory not only cut the series deficit to 2-1, but also shifted momentum squarely in Minnesota's favor. With Game 4 set for Monday night at Target Center, the Timberwolves have an opportunity to even the series and put the pressure back on the Thunder. For Oklahoma City, adjustments are imperative. They must find ways to free up Gilgeous-Alexander and counter Minnesota's defensive schemes to regain control of the series. As the series progresses, the spotlight will remain on the duel between Edwards and Gilgeous-Alexander. Game 3 showcased Edwards' emergence as a superstar capable of dominating on the biggest stage. For Gilgeous-Alexander, it's a chance to respond and reaffirm his MVP status. The battle continues, and the stakes have never been higher.